great deal of sadness that I have to report that in the early hours this morning, a South Australian police officer was tragically killed in the line of duty. Brevet Sergeant Jason Doig was fatally shot. He was the officer in charge of the Lucindale Police Station. An incident occurred last night where three police officers attended an isolated rural property about 15 kilometres north of Bordertown. On arrival, the police officers in attendance were confronted by the occupant, a 26-year-old man. Upon being confronted, the occupant has shot and fatally wounded Brevet Sergeant Jason Doig, and he later died at the scene. The occupant also shot Sergeant Michael Hutchinson, who received non-life-threatening injuries, and Michael Hutchinson has been conveyed to hospital in Adelaide. The third police officer, Constable Rebecca Cass, was not injured during the incident. The 26-year-old man was shot by police, and he's also been conveyed to Adelaide and is under police guard at this time. The two officers, Michael Hutchinson and Rebecca Cass, both provided assistance to Jason and the 26-year-old man at the scene prior to another driving. As I've said, it goes without saying, this is an incredibly tragic incident for the South Australian Police, and I can only imagine what the family of Jason are feeling at this point in time. And I can speak on behalf of the police officers here in the South East and the remainder of the police within the South Australian Police and right across Australia. The fact that no one is left untouched by this tragic incident. With one single police officer today who is not thinking about the sacrifice that Jason has made and the risk that is inherent in the role of policing. And that concern and care extends to family and friends of police officers as well. You can only imagine during the early hours of this morning the number of people who were wondering, waiting to hear whether or not it was someone they cared about that was involved in this incident. And I can only offer my most sincere condolences to Jason's family, and we're all hoping that Michael recovers quickly from his injuries.
Why were the officers called to the property?
There was a report of the use of a firearm involving an animal. The police were investigating that incident. The full circumstances of their attendance will be part of a Commissioner's inquiry. And we also have major crime and forensic response section up here at the moment at the scene investigating the circumstances. As you can imagine, this will be treated very seriously, and a full investigation will be undertaken.
Were other people at the property at the time?
My understanding is, apart from police and the 26-year-old man, there were no other people there.
What can you tell us about Jason, his circumstance? He was from a neighbouring station, I guess?
Jason was the officer in charge of the Lucindale Police Station, not too far from here. He's been a member of the South East community for somewhere over 15, 16 years. Highly respected. He spent a lot of time at Bordertown and Narracourt as a relieving sergeant. Highly respected by his peers in the South East and right across State Road. So this is a devastating day for South Australian Police.
How long has he been in the police force?
Jason joined in 1989, a career police officer. He was 20 years old. Sadly lost.
Do we know why shots were fired? What happened there? Were police there at the scene?
At this point in time, we don't have a full understanding of all of the circumstances, and that's the reason for major crime taking the investigation. Obviously, we're hopeful that we'll have a full understanding of all of the circumstances as the investigation unfolds.
You've been here for the morning, Commissioner. What's it been like out the scene in the community? What's the general feeling?
I've spoken to the police officers who were in it. One of the police officers who was in attendance, Rebecca. I've spoken to the team that have come in to assist in the response and to support the officers involved. What can you say? Police officers come to work knowing there are risks inherent in the job, but this is such a stark reminder of what those risks may result in. This is a devastating event for the police at Bordertown. The southeastern police officers, the community have already reached out to the local police officers here. This is a tragic event that will have wide-ranging impacts across so many aspects of our community, not just police, but people who rely on police to provide that safety and security that they enjoy in our community.
Did police realise this was going to be quite a dangerous task? Did it seem to escalate quickly?
police were responding as a result of a report, but there was nothing in the information that we are able to ascertain at this point in time that would have indicated it was a high-risk incident. You would describe it as one of those jobs that would be part of the daily routine for police officers.
You had obviously an earlier incident at Crystal Brook earlier this year. Got this incident overnight. How concerning is it to have these type of incidents happening this frequently with police officers being put at risk?
Well, just reflecting on the incident involving Ian Todd and Jordan Adderley back in May this year, we were incredibly lucky not to lose Ian on that day, and it was because of a quick response of Jordan and other people attending to assist that Ian survived that event. I think I can say that that occurred a relatively short time ago, but these aren't events that we're dealing with day in, day out. Police officers do put themselves in harm's way. Police officers are injured almost on a daily basis, but such significant injuries and fatal injuries thankfully are quite rare in South Australia.
Is there anything more police can do? I guess we look at every incident. Is there anything more the police can do to try and, I guess, keep officers safer in duty?
I can say absolutely that officer safety is paramount for us. We provide the right tools, equipment and training so they can do their job as safely as possible, but you can't get past the reality that policing often involves dealing with violent offenders, and the reasons for that violence are wide-ranging. Illicit drugs, mental health issues, inherent violent behaviour. That is a part of policing, and it is about having the right equipment, the right protective equipment, making sure it's used properly and that people are trained to use it to minimise those risks, but you can't remove all risks.
That 26-year-old, had police dealt with him previously?
I don't have any information on the particular individual other than the information on our systems didn't give rise to any concerns that it was a high-risk incident they were attending.
So did that report come in earlier in the day? Like, where did this report come from?
The full circumstances will be provided at a later point. At this point in time, we're letting the initial investigators ascertain as much information as possible.
In terms of investigations, what other specific investigations that occur after an incident like this?
This is an investigation into an incident involving the death of a police officer, and obviously an incident where police officers have discharged their firearm and critically injured a member of the community, regardless of the circumstances. That requires a thorough and detailed investigation. It will be undertaken by major crime, and it forms part of our Commissioner's inquiry. The Commissioner's inquiry will look at the death and the circumstances that led to police arriving at that location and this incident unfolding.
Could you also just speak to the courage of the other two officers there last night?
For those two officers to act the way they did in such difficult circumstances speaks volumes for their courage and their commitment to their duty and to their colleagues. An injured police officer stepping in to provide potentially life-saving assistance to a colleague and also the person who is suspected of having committed the offence, I think goes to their credit. To act in that way in such difficult circumstances is the reason we can only be proud of the South Australia Police.
In terms of Jason, is there any more details you can give to us, his family circumstances or anything like that?
Jason has a brother who lives in Dalesford and a mother who lives in Moornball in Victoria, and we're very grateful for the assistance of the Victoria Police. I've spoken directly with Commissioner Shane Patton, who has arranged for police officers to notify Jason's family members and also convey his brother to where his mother lives so that they can be together.
How old is Jason?
Jason was 50.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.